burn. We start this hour in West Asia, where Israeli strikes on Gaza's Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis killed at least 20 people, including 5 journalists and a civil defense worker. The Israeli military confirmed striking in the area, ordered an inquiry and said it does not target journalists, though Gaza's civil defense called it a deliberate drone and airstrikes. Media groups and the Palestinian Journalist Syndicate condemned the killings as part of a systemic campaign against the press. Among the dead was Reuters cameraman Hussam al-Masri, while fellow Reuters photographer Hatem Khaled was seriously wounded. Al Jazeera confirmed its cameraman Mohammed Salama was killed, while the Associated Press mourned freelancer Miriam Dagga. 2 others, Moaz Abu Taha and Ahmed Abu Aziz, were also named among the victims. Witnesses say a second strike hit just as journalists and rescue teams rushed to the scene of the first blast. Reuters' live feed from the hospital cut off just at the moment of impact. More than 240 journalists have been killed since the war began in October of 2023, as Israel's offensive has claimed over 62,000 Palestinian lives. We're now joined by Yeshaya Rosenman. He's an Israeli journalist and he joins us live from Jerusalem. Yeshaya, thank you very much for joining us here on NewsX World. Israel has maintained the statement that Israel does not target journalists. However, 5 have been killed today, Yeshaya. This follows, of course, last week where 6 were killed. A huge staple of Al Jazeera killed last week by another Israeli strike. How does the Israeli public feel about the deaths of these journalists coming out of the Gaza Strip? They are, of course, Palestinians.
Yes, I personally think that, first of all, I wholeheartedly believe that Israel does not intentionally target innocent people, but I think it is quite easily confirmed that these journalists, especially the Al Jazeera journalists, were not innocent. Famously, the journalists killed from Al Jazeera last week were on the payroll of the Hamas military wing. This has been confirmed. The documents have been released by the IDF in the Arabic original. The man killed today, Mohammed Salame, had invaded Israel on the 7th of October with Hamas fighters. So once again, I don't know yet whether the man was on their payroll, but he was clearly working hand in glove with them. So I don't think these people are innocent. Al Jazeera in general is a wing of the Qatari government. They are the primary funders of Hamas. So it is basically a Hamas propaganda wing. And I think they are akin to the German propaganda ministry, people who were tried at Nuremberg as war criminals. So I hope that no innocent people were killed, journalists or not journalists, but I don't think these journalists were innocent. And I don't feel sorry that they're killed. I think they should have been killed. They should have been targeted. If the IDF said they did not target them, I don't know what they're referring to, because the people, like I said last week, killed from Al Jazeera, some of them were famous journalists on the Hamas payroll. So they are legitimate targets.
Yeshaya, of course, Israel does not let international journalists into the Gaza Strip, citing safety concerns for them. Of course, this has been the deadliest war for journalists in the world in recent memory, in history. What are your thoughts on Israel and it not letting international journalists into the Gaza Strip, and also the public relations fight that Israel is currently facing against people who do in fact say that Israel is trying to stop information getting out of Gaza Strip to show what is actually going on?
First of all, as to this being the deadliest war for journalists, I'm not familiar with the data, but I highly doubt that it is more deadly for journalists than the wars in Afghanistan or Iraq. I'm not sure that statistic is true. But as to Israel not letting journalists in, you have to understand the ground reality as it is in Gaza or in places like South Lebanon, in Hezbollah territory. You cannot operate you cannot enter or do anything. You cannot roam around Gaza as a free citizen and film indiscriminately in Gaza. You have to work directly with Hamas officials. There is no other way. So basically, anyone who enters Gaza as a journalist, with no exception, automatically shows only propaganda guided by Hamas officials. So I see no reason, even if the journalist comes with good intentions, I see no reason to allow people in who will only be allowed to show what Hamas allows it to show. I see that as not genuine journalism. It is no more journalism than going to North Korea and showing what the North Korean regime allows you to show.
Just to get the statistics up there, it turns out the Israel-Gaza war has become the deadliest conflict for journalists ever recorded now, with a extra number of 5 being added to that toll today.
I'll just make the brief exception that many of those journalists deserve to die. They were Hamas fighters. They were fighters, some of them in arms, commanders of battalions and fighters in the Hamas military wing. So they were not, it would be very instructive to go through that list and see exactly who was killed.
Israel has said that it's going to conduct an investigation into this attack.
I hope they do. I hope we do.
Yes. How much can we trust the findings of the IDF, given their previous investigation findings and, of course, its governance currently?
I think the question is the other way around. How much can you trust the Hamas officials who place no premium on the truth? It is a propaganda regime, a genocidal propaganda regime that doesn't care about the truth at all. It has been proven time and again, from the bombing on the Al Ahli hospital, and time and again that Hamas will simply give whatever numbers they want, whatever names they want. They will give whatever information they want with no commitment to the truth. And Israel is naturally slower because we actually verify what we confirm and disprove. We actually go through the data and try to research the truth. So I think your best bet is the IDF statistics. You can look, for example, at sites like Honest Reporting that debunk the Hamas numbers. And I think we should all have critical thinking, and especially from people, towards people who have no commitment to truth whatsoever.
Yes, thank you very much, Yeshaya. We now move over to Europe for our next